Hey, what's up everyone and welcome back to another ladder story. We're following Artosis' journey once again today, and we have a Terran vs Zerg on Radeon. This is actually the second game in recent times between Artosis, who's playing on his Zookeeper alias for this game, and 3050 underscore Black Pig, who I started to just call Piggy. And in the game that they played, I invented the thumbnail for Pigtosis, just for only really to get a laugh. Not trying to offend anyone. I think when I made the thumbnail, I just thought it looked hysterical. So if you have seen that game, cool. If you haven't seen that game, please do go and have a look. Mr. Black Pig does play a very fun and somewhat cheesy style. And as it turns out, in terms of chronology, the game that I've already put on the channel was played on the same day as today's game. So while I haven't presented them as a series, they did in fact occur, should I say, back to back. I won't spoil the results of Pigtosis, which was the name of the first game, or at least the name of the thumbnail. So we will see what, if anything, different or fun or interesting happens in the second meeting between the two. But the first game was hype, so I've got absolutely no doubt that we're going to have something similar to look forward to today. So Artosis is sending out his scout. We have had a standard hatch first opening from our Zerg. So let's see what fun, interesting, and wonderful things we have. Before we get into any of the festivities and so on, I am on a mission this year to try and get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. We're bombing along quite nicely, making some good progress. If you are a regular viewer and you've just seen down there that you haven't yet subscribed, please do click that little button. It really will help me a lot to achieve my goal for the year. So thank you very much in advance. And that is the end of the plugs, requests, and things of that nature. Don't know why this SCV is just chilling here. Like, what happened to him? Hello, excuse me, sir. You need to return to work. This is not smoke break. Oh, there we go. He's awake. He's awake. Nobody panic. It's all fine. Alrighty, so the one thing that did happen in game one was Artosis took a lot of fights with the mutas out in the open. It didn't really use the turrets and what he had to sort of protect his infantry units. I'll be interested to see if he adjusts that in any way, shape, or form. And of course, when you've played someone and you've kind of seen the cheesy builds that they like to do, kind of forces them to adapt, right? Otherwise, you become a bit too predictable. I think we're going to lose our scouting probe here. He's got one hit left on him and gone. Okay, so the lair would be incoming, but we have not yet scouted what the lair tech is going to be. I'm going to keep a very weather eye on that. And I think Artosis, knowing that he's playing against a player renowned for shenanigans, is going to want to know for sure that it's Spire. Look, I've got no reason to believe that he's going to deviate from Spire. His muta macro is pretty decent. I think he got pretty profitable trades with his mutas in the previous game that he just played against RT. So it's looking 110% like it's going to be Spire. So there it is. Okay, so it's going to be a normal opening. It's usually just what happens in the mid game where Mr. Black Piggy likes to mix it up. So I'm loving the Terran vs Zerg game full stop. Players who are mixing in the mech builds and the Volk builds, you know, players like Fantasy and Scan are heaps of fun to watch. So I will be looking for and casting a few more of their replays going forward. Artosis pretty much plays SK Terran almost without exception. The only adjustment that I've seen him make quite recently is if the Zerg is going crazy Zerg but also turtling up quite heavily, he's willing to diversify into battle cruisers. And yeah, he did also go nuke in one game, which I thought was very, very different and quite refreshing and fun to see. So good to see Artie mixing his game up a little bit, doing things that we don't expect to see. It does just make it more interesting for the viewer, a little bit more compelling. So we will always encourage him to keep on and on mixing it up. Okay, so we're moving out a little pod of militia units The goal here is not to kill the Zerg, it's just to keep him honest, force out a few Sunkens. We do see one creep colony coming in. We haven't made a third base on location, so we are going with the macro hatch strategy from Mr. Black Pig, which is obviously a much safer way to do things. Zergling has given a little bit of early warning, but he's just quite comfortably only making one Sunken. Come on, Artie, challenge the Sunken! Man. I think he could potentially have scanned again. How many scans you got? There's one now again. Could have scanned the natural here to be like, you're only making one Sunken, bro? I mean, that's not showing me the respect I deserve. I'm freaking Artosis, man. The living legend himself. Oh, and the fire bat. I'm loving the fact that the fire bat has come back. I've learned that Toggles is actually a nemesis of Artosis, but having cast games of Toggles, he plays a similar style in terms of the SK Terran, but he loves to integrate fire bats into his timing attacks, and it's really, really quite cool and interesting to see him do that. So to see Artie making a fire bat as well now just made me think of that, and gave me a little chance to chuckle. Okay, so what kind of damage are we going to get with our mutas? That is the big question. We seem to have adequate number of turrets here. I like the turret placement here from Artie. I'm just going to zoom out a bit to see where and what angles our Zerg is trying to get. Just sort of disappearing for the time being. And Artosis seems to have the confidence to move out onto the map. We are making 9 mutas behind this. We are getting Ling Speed. We are getting Flyer Carapace. We are taking a third base, on location. And picking off a couple of stray units. The frustrating thing with bio units is that they will continuously just split up from the group and like walk around here, walk around there. It can be frustrating because then it just opens up these little pick-offs for the mutas. And then Terran is in essence losing these units for free unless they're able to get some shots off as well. So posturing up, he's got a nice full stack of 11 here. And picked off 2 Marines there, another 2. And very, very quickly, I mean, if you've got the same number of mutas as you do Marines, you should be able to win this fight. Artie has snuck off 3 units here separately to go and harass this base. Queen's Nest is on the way, by the way, so it looks like we are potentially going to be skipping lurkers. Nothing much here to defend this at this stage. That drone goes down quick smart. But it's just diving on these remaining units. So Mr. Black Pig has got 68 supply on 30 drones, and Artosis has only got 56 supply on 43 SCVs. So a massive deficit in army. He does send a few Lings to tidy up this part of Marines, which is what I was expecting to happen. Picks up a SCV that was building that turret. Still has the fierce fire bat in amongst his forces. Oh no. I'm remembering an RT game where it was in a compilation in a 9-minute game that he lost because he lost these 2 depots and got supply blocked into next week. He's got plenty of supply here though. He's 64 of 92, so I don't think he's going to have that problem this game. But the muta harassment working out pretty well. Artosis moved up but wasn't really able to get to a position to pressure other than killing a drone here and getting a few hit points on the hatchery. So I think our Zerg is in a pretty good spot. Let's see if Artosis is able to play his way back. He's not skipping lurker aspect, so even though he's gone pretty quick to hive, is also making lurker aspect behind this. So some sort of weird mixed build from our Zerg. Maybe crackling, lurker, some combination like that. So we are getting our second starport, our science facility, so doing all of the things and the stuff to be able to hit our SK Terran nice and hard. And our Zerg is making his first 3 lurkers. He's also getting adrenal, so it is going to be some kind of crackling lurker muta combo. Keep an eye on if we see a greater spire. Our friend Mr. Black Pig, he really likes Guardians. Defiler Mound as well. So could get a variety of hive-tech units in play from this chap. You know, Artosis just trying to hit his upgrades. Do we have a single engineering bay? Yeah, we got one here. And that's it. So we're just doing the single upgrade style. There was a build for a little while ago where the double eBay getting up to sort of 3-3 at an optimized timing was the play. But that doesn't seem to have held. Now it's sort of getting your radiates up and running and getting up a critical mass of units to go and contest bases before there's too many lurkers. That kind of seems to be how the meta game has evolved. The fire bats are in the crew though. Let's go, baby. Fire bats for life. Woohoo. How's these guys? They're like, no, sorry, were we supposed to be with you? Sorry, man. Sorry, I got distracted, man. Chuck, you told it. Look at the number of fire bats. Beautiful. Chuck told me a joke. It was a real good one, and then I got distracted. Then I killed a lonely hydralisk. Okay, so Ozzy seems to be setting up to take a third. I really like this from him. I don't think he's in a position to go out and kill the Zerg. So I think one of the ways he can play his way into a good lead here is to get himself a third. And does pick off that science vessel. Not before, though, a decent irradiate comes through. So that was nicely done. So I misdiagnosed the plan here, if that's the term. Are we getting plague and we're getting all the things and a defile and a ultralisk cavern? So we really are getting all of the Zerg tech kind of all in one go here. I was pretty convinced that Adi was going to try and set up to take a third. He's not. He's floating a bit of money here. What's our Rax count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could maybe afford another couple. Although, perhaps the plan is to expand here. We're also going to pressure. So we've irradiated a lurker. Raided another lurker. Unfortunately lost our science vessel to Scourge. But is it pressure time? Oh man, the fire bats are in tow. The lurkers are dying. The fire bats are fire batting. Pretty quick dark swarm here. The lurker's getting a lot of work done here. Not missing anything else, am I? No, just Overlord here. So it is expanding behind this, which is good to see. Double expanding. Oh my god, Artie. What is going on here, you crazy, crazy man? So if you've ever watched his stream, there is a notorious amount of grief that he's always given for expanding too late or not expanding enough. So it's always a running joke when you see him expand or double expand. You're like, what are you doing, you crazy man? So good to see him though, reading and capitalizing on the little bit of map control that he's got. Also some drops, which we don't see him do much. So I think that'll be good. I think his plan would probably be, if I had to hazard a guess, drop here. But let's see how we go. So we are doing our radiates to try and get some cut through. And whether we're actually going to push this position or not, I'm not sure. There is the Nidus. These lings are cracklings, and we don't actually have that many units here. We have a bunker and nothing else really protecting this base, and we have a bunker and a few units here. So Artosis thinks better of pressuring this position, and Mr. Zerg is looking like he wants to start establishing a map presence here. I think a Dark Swarm is incoming. There it is. So these units now have to contest these cracklings, and Jesus Christ, did those cracklings evaporate those units quickly. So Artie's now having to send his army across the map to try and contest this, but I think he's done the lift, and the SCVs that were here have hightailed out of there. A fair number of them are going to survive, but I don't know if Artosis has reinforced this adequately. It looks like he probably has, so chowing through these lings pretty quickly, but gee whiz, cracklings do shred through buildings really, really quickly. It's going to be difficult and frustrating to try and re-establish this, because you've got to kill these lurkers under Dark Swarm. You've got to cut through these lings. Meanwhile, the drop did happen, but the counter play was Dark Swarm, and it was a big drop too. 4 dropships. Wow, that is awesome to see. But Zerg has reinforced using their Nidus, has introduced some ultras into the game, Can't really see what else is coming in, so it's just everything's coming through this Nidus Canal here. And Artie's clearing this off predominantly with the radiates, and still really stretching our Zerg to tidy this up. One medic remains, some ultras, some lings. So it's ling, ultra, lurker. It's all the L's, man. All the L's in one go. There's one aggressive and somewhat cheeky ling still having a good time. I don't know if this is the right decision here. This is 2 bunkers. There's no defiler support, and we are coming in a conga line, and we're just getting absolutely shredded into the meat grinder here, so not optimal. Firebats trying to do their work here against these ultras. More reinforcements coming across from Artie, and I think he'll tidy this up quite nicely. And the pendulum in this game is definitely swung in Artosis' favor. Despite the nice spread of bases from our Zerg, doesn't have the drone count that he would ideally need. And as such, I think he's really struggling for money. He's spending his money pretty well, which is good. But just doesn't have the income that he needs to be able to contest Artie's 4 bases here. And he knows his win condition is he's got to knock down one of Artie's bases. And that's going to be a challenge. We're doing another drop here. This time I will not miss it if it actually happens. Radiate on the Ultra. Drop goes down. Cracklings, Lurkers, Ultras against Firebats, Marines. No medics in these dropships. And a Dark Storm for good measure. I think everything there went down. Counter-attack. Once again, this base, the vulnerability. This base still pretty safe and sound. Firebats are earning their money. Go Firebats, go! Woohoo! So cool to see Firebats, man. I love the animations that they do as well. So we've knocked down this base. This so-called base trade is not working too well for our Zerg. Are we going to try and break up here though? Just got to tidy up these couple of lings. Oh, there is the Ultra as well. Plague-oo! On top of everything else. Ultras have now come into this other base and just died real quick. So our retreat is going, and our Zerg is suddenly pulling back here. Artie really does have to hold on to both of these bases. So our Zerg is swinging the bat, and he's going to try and break this position. There are no defilers supporting this. He can run repairs on these bunkers, so probably not ideal to try and break there. Still nothing to protect this position, except the units that are kind of intercepting where his army would be coming in from. So his army's in good position here. Science vessels easily picked off that they've all been plagued now. Alright, so we're going strong. We've lost this base. Artie's re-established this one. This one's still going strong. And question now is, does our Zerg continue to attack, or is it time to regroup and expand? The answer is attack, guys. Definitely attack. And it's getting some cut through here with these Ultras and Lings. Ling Ultras are really, really scary combo, and suddenly the supplies are getting scarily close here. Question's going to be, where do you go from here? If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say this is going to be it. Ding, 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 ding. Battle cruisers, baby! He's back again! This time it wasn't because he was turtling, but I think it was because our Zerg has got nothing that shoots up. So we have lost a fair few number of SCVs. We've once again floated up our command center. Geez, like the sound of dying SCVs is scary. Another big Barney here though. No radiates going off on the Ultras. Firebats though still working their asses off to try and get these Ultras out of the way. But there's just Too many of them. Oh no. Hive tech is powerful, man. Hive tech is really, really powerful. That was a fun game. Great swinging game between the players. I thought both were in it. Artie, I think, fell behind a little in the early game. And then pulled back and pulled ahead at a certain point. But just could not hold on to that fourth base. And our Zerg, in spite of losing this position, had really, really good upgrades, really, really good tech. I think a very strong unit composition, and was able to beat him. So, for those of you who didn't watch the first game between the two, Artie beat the pig in game number 1, and the pig came back and got his redemption, and he won in game 2. And that was a pretty fun little story on the ladder that I could share with you guys today. If you enjoyed it, and please do hit the like button, please do interact with the videos and give feedback. I always appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Until next time, you take it easy, and I will see you soon.